This is such an exciting opportunity. I can't believe that in only a few months' time we'll be able to jump on a train in Ipswich, in Bury St Edmunds, in Lowestoft, Wickham Market, Bury Stowmarket, and within an hour we're going to be at the Olympic Games. We are going to be at the Olympic Games within an hour. This is such a great opportunity. So with only a few months to go, what are you going to do for the Olympic Games? How are you going to make the most of this opportunity which is right on our doorstep? How are you going to inspire future Olympians? How are you going to make the most of this fantastic opportunity? Are you going to go away and sit and think, well, yeah, not sure? Go away and do something. Get the youngsters going in your community. Organise groups and events. Have Olympic themed events. We've really got to capture this. It's so inspiring. I mean, often today we talk about youngsters sitting in front of computer screens, just like I'm doing in the studio here, sitting down. You know, there are a few couch potatoes around as well. We should all be getting off our backsides, young and old, getting out there and learning all we can about the Olympic Games, enjoying what's coming up, volunteering if we can, helping out at our local sports clubs. And it's important that we start doing it right now. Don't wait, do it right now. After today, go out and do something in your local community. Get the youngsters involved, find out what sports clubs are around. Do they need more volunteers? Do they need some funding? Go out and do your very best, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And here in Suffolk, I'm really proud of Suffolk, and I really hope that we can maximise this opportunity and have great fun at the same time. It's all about fun, getting out there in the fresh air and enjoying what the Olympic Games is going to bring to us. But if we don't get out there and do something now, we might just miss the boat.
My name is Simon Clegg. I'm the Chief Executive of Ipswich Town Football Club here at Portman Road. Before that, I was privileged enough to be Chief Executive of the British Olympic Association, an organisation that I had worked for from 1989 through to 2009, and during those 20 years I'd spent the last 12 years as the organisation's Chief Executive. Over those 20 years I was privileged enough to manage athletes in one capacity or another at 12 Olympic and Olympic Winter Games, the last 6 of which I was the chef de mission, which is the overall head of the British team, culminating in Beijing, our most successful performance at any Olympic Games since London in 1908. During my time at the British Olympic Association, and particularly during the early years, I was involved in 2 Olympic bids: Manchester's bid for the 1996 Olympic Games, which obviously subsequently went to Atlanta, and the bid for 2000 Games, which subsequently were awarded to Sydney. When we came back from Monte Carlo, where the decision for the 2000 Games had been made and were awarded to Sydney, as I've just said, what we decided to do was to take stock of our position as a National Olympic Committee and review why both of those bids had failed to achieve any more than 15% of the votes that were available from the electorate. And it was only on that basis, and as a result of that detailed research, that we came to a very clear view, based upon what we were being told by the electorate, that they would only vote for Great Britain to host the Olympic Games when we came back into the arena with London. So the London bid was conceived in the British Olympic Association in 1996, started really in earnest in 1997, just as I was being appointed as Chief Executive of the organisation. We appointed a young project manager called David Luckis, who'd previously been working for 5 Live, was an Olympic athlete himself, had been the hockey goalkeeper of the Great Britain team at the Atlantic Games in 1996. And David came to us and was responsible, under my direction, for producing a feasibility study as to whether London could host the Games. And this is a copy of that original feasibility study that, as you can see, took over 3 years to produce. The date on the front is the 15th of December 2000. And this is the document that effectively I had to mount the political campaign to secure the support of the other 2 key stakeholders at that time, the Mayor of London, who at that stage was Ken Livingstone, and of course the government. It's incredible for me to look back and believe that actually it was over 5 years ago that I was privileged enough to be one of the 3 co-signatories on the host city contract on behalf of our country to award the Games to London in 2012. how those 5 years have just flown by, and yet now there's only 500 days to go to the Games. We're talking about the Games in next year. I mean, it's really exciting for me, but actually for community groups out there, for teachers, for whatever parts of society that there are, we need to all be thinking about how are we going to capitalise on London in 2012? How are we going to make this a special moment, not only for ourselves, but for our children? I still meet people, or I did a few years ago when I was at the British Olympic Association, who were in their 70s and their 80s, who were taken to the 1948 Olympics in London as children by their parents, and it's a milestone in their lives, and they well up and almost have tears in their eyes being taken back to those memories, because it was such an important time for them and their families. And it's really important to me that we give the kids of today that opportunity, because quite frankly, if the kids in Glasgow and Cardiff and Belfast and Lowestoft and Needham Market and Ipswich, if the closest they get to the Olympic Games is watching it on a television screen next year, then I think that we have failed an entire generation. One of the main rationales for us in the British Olympic Association driving this concept so heavily was a very clear understanding that nothing had the potential to move sport higher or more quickly up both the political and social agendas in this country. Undoubtedly, we've achieved the former. I mean, cracky, we've now even got an Olympics minister totally responsible for the Olympics. The real challenge is, have we driven sport up the social agenda? And we can only really tell that in 2020 when we look back and we consider the legacy that hosting the Games in 2012 has given us as a nation. And we need to be thinking about legacy now. And legacy isn't only about physical infrastructure, it's how we've impacted on people's lives and how they have touched the Olympics. Now, I know not every person is excited about putting on a pair of running shorts and going out and doing physical exercise, but that doesn't mean that the Olympic Games in London in 2012 cannot touch them in a different way. But we all have to be creative in terms of finding ways that are appropriate for us, our skill sets and our interests, and how that opportunity in London in 2012 will touch our lives and will benefit our lives going forward.
I can't wait for 2012 to come to London. I think it's a chance of a lifetime for us in this country to host the Olympic Games, and that doesn't happen very often in one's lifetime. So I've been watching from afar for many, many years, and now it's coming here, and it's an opportunity for us all to come together, to really galvanize our communities and to do something about it. It's about the human body, this thing that we all have, and to celebrate the potential of that human body, to go for gold. And we want our Olympic athletes to win gold, but we want everyone to kind of look at what they've got, this beautiful body. It can run, it can dance, it can leap, it can jump, it can swim, and we're going to celebrate the potentiality of it to its extreme. And the arts are very much a part of the Cultural Olympics and London 2012, because culture and the arts are paramount to physicality, and dance is the art form that celebrates the human body, not unlike sport, and we're non-competitive. So this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of us to think about what we can do to get fit, to get healthy, to feel good about ourselves, so we can all come together and celebrate this amazing opportunity that we're having this year in the UK. Amazingly, there's only 500 days to go, and that seems like a lot, but it'll creep up on us before we know it. In dance, we're already planning for Big Dance 2012, where we want everyone around the country to be dancing. In Ipswich and Suffolk, we'll have loads of events in July 2012 to get everyone up on their feet doing something with dance. So it's time to plan now for schools to get kids excited, for teachers to plan their projects, for us in the arts and in theatres and planning festivals like IpArt in Ipswich and other festivals, to really think about how we can bring sport and the Cultural Olympiad into the lives of people in a year's time. So it's not too soon to plan. It might be too late in some instances, so we really need to come together to think of ways of things that we already do, but just shift the way we do them. For Dance East, for instance, all our youth and community activities will have a sport theme in 2012. So that's not going to cost us any money, but just lots of brainstorming and exciting creativity to get everyone thinking about dance through sport and through, using different kinds of sport to be the themes behind the movement that we do and all the choreography that we develop over that year. So they're fun things, they don't cost very much, but they'll get everyone thinking in one direction, which is the fantastic opportunity we're having in this country. Dance East is really thrilled that we are a partner in an Unlimited Commission, which is a Cultural Olympiad project that is allowing us to work with choreographer Mark Brew, who himself is in a wheelchair after a horrific car accident, which he survived after being a dancer with Australian Ballet. He's now in the UK, has danced with Ken Duco, and is now choreographing. So he's choreographing on 5 dancers to make a work over 5 weeks with composer Evelyn Glennie, who herself is deaf. So it's bringing all these great artists together to make a very, very special work, and it's being made in Ipswich, in Suffolk, over 5 weeks. And we're going to have a sneak preview of it soon. And then hopefully it will be able to be performed around the country to celebrate the Cultural Olympiad in 2012. So it's a real privilege to be able to work with an artist like Mark, who studied, who has the physicality in his bones to dance, and is limited by his wheelchair, but he can pass on to the next generation of dancers his creativity and ideas, and that's really special. And that's what the Cultural Olympiad is all about. It's about celebrating the potential of what we can do, and there are no limitations.
I'm Terry Hunt, I'm the editor of the East Anglian Daily Times newspaper. The 2012 Games happening in London is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of us living here in Suffolk. It's less than an hour away from most of the county by rail, it's easily accessible by road, and it's down to each and every one of us in the county to make the absolute best of this fantastic opportunity that's now a little more than a year away. There's a terrific opportunity for every business in Suffolk to try to grasp this opportunity, which obviously comes at a very difficult time for business across the board. There's a terrific opportunity for people to volunteer, to be part of it. There are jobs, there are thousands and thousands of jobs related to the Games, and while most of them are obviously initially short-term contracts, who knows what they might turn into. They may well turn into permanent jobs in some cases, and there's a fantastic opportunity for all of us to go and watch the greatest show on earth with some of the best performers who have ever walked this earth or run this earth in so many different disciplines. And I would just say to everybody in Suffolk, please, please make the best of this opportunity, because it won't come around again.